Rick here from Tips and Ratings. Just with the ratings wrap for today, we turned over around 35 units today and got back 30 for a loss of about 5 units. It was a long day. We started at 1:53 p.m. at Bendigo, and it's now past 10:30. So throw in form for tomorrow and all that sort of stuff, and it's a real grind of a Friday today. But that's the way it goes. So we'll get into it. Look, in race 2 at Bendigo, we basically had two horses right in the market, and that was Triple Gold and Claudine. Claudine just ended up a little bit ahead, and we backed it, and Triple Gold was just a little bit too good. So I think we missed out on the price early by about 10 cents or something. So, sometimes that's just what happens. And the other horse that we basically had as a value runner was Knockout Johnny, and he ran well to finish third. And the other horse, Salt, who was having his second start, ran fourth. So basically 4 there were chances on our market, and the rest had no hope, and that's sort of the way it turned out. But at the end of the day, we dropped 2.4 units. We were keen on Duck Dynasty in the third, and he looked to have a nice run and certainly had every chance, and just wasn't good enough. It was quite a weak performance, so you just have to monitor him now. He's a horse that's had a couple of chances, but he doesn't seem to be back to what he can do. Do the Right Thing was the winner for Smurden. That jumped and sort of sat on the speed and was a bit too good. So we dropped 2.5 units there. Then Moonee Valley Race 1, we backed 4 horses and we didn't get a winner again. So this was 3 losses in a row. We dropped around 3.5 units on the race, and what happened was I Am Gypsy, who was our top rater and favourite, didn't begin well, and it ended up punting right up, and in doing so forced one of our other bets, Malaguerra, to sit wide, and ended up getting back, and it was just a messy race. So in the end, we struck out there, so that was 3 in a row. Then we had a good bit of luck here. Zambezi Diamond just rated very strongly on our end, and he was basically a standout, marked $3.20, and he won the race on protest. So $7.50 was top fluck, was the price. $8.50 best total, and some members reported getting $9.50. $7.50 was the price we got here, and it was around a 12-unit return. So certainly a pretty good protest to get. And what happened was it beat Jackpot, who we also backed, was coming off an impressive win in New Zealand, and once it sort of got out to 350, we had 1 1/4 units on it to make it a small win in our book. So some of the members would have got a double payout depending who they backed it with. We didn't get that here, but nonetheless, almost 12-unit return was fantastic, and a good bit of luck for us to get that protest. On to the next race. We bet 3.75 units here, and probably made a little bit of an error here. I'm still learning as we go with the new database, and just picked up a couple of things here and there. And Jade's Boy won and won well. He was heavily backed, and or on a few others that really didn't do too good in the end. So the best we could do was third, and learned a valuable lesson there with Jade's Boy going forward. So a loss on that race. Onto race 4. And Mark Tuscan Sling, $2 here, $2.25 top fluck. It blew right out late to $2.40 a lot of places, and some were $2.70. I didn't get that drift, but the $2.25 was nice, and it sort of didn't begin well. It was back and wide, but was just way too good. I think it's pretty talented, and obviously it's in good hands. Aware was heavily backed. It ran second, and that was sort of about it. So we backed 5 horses in that race. It wasn't a massive return. We had some better results, but happy to get out with a small profit. We got another winner, the bowler. Marked him $6. He came out a lot shorter on the raw figures, but I put an adjustment into Raldas, and yeah, I still think that was the right thing to do. Raldas obviously didn't win, but we're on the bowler, and look, he sort of had strong form up on the Gold Coast around Drayfontein and Strawberry Boy, and that horse, the Waterhouse horse that escapes my mind, is running tomorrow, and he was a good result. You know, he copped a bit of interference at the 600, but just, you know, a lot of class compared to these, and he was able to pick himself up and overcome those issues. And all that, number 3 rated quite strongly on our figures, especially our class figures, and we marked him $16, and they freely bet 50s, and I thought that it ran quite well. It probably wouldn't have won, but you know, you could certainly tack on a little bit, you know, for finishing a bit closer, and I'm not sure where they go with it from here, but it could, you know, run well again, and is certainly one for exotics, and especially if they put it up that price again in a similar race. On to the next race, and the winner, we marked 500 to 1, and it was about that on Betfair, and just struck out here, dropped 4.3 units thereabouts. Was quite keen on Systonic, but it and the Loping cut each other up, and they just, Systonic ran its last 200 in about 13.5 seconds, so it was in reverse, and the field basically ran the last 600 10 lengths slower than they ran the first 600, so really the horses on speed were given no chance, and set the race up for something to come from behind, and a few of them got interfered with, and Written Dash just got the dream run and was too good. So yeah, one that wins at a big price there, but that happens. We struck out again in race 7, so we missed out here. Our best result was the Ruffian. I may just have to update that actually. I was waiting for the photo. 3rd, 4th, and 2nd was Savvy Henry. So we had this race through Mornington that ran Savvy Henry, and yeah. Oh, I sort of got it wrong, I guess. It didn't really. It was one of those races where you could make a case either way, and I sort of treated it, knocked it back a little bit. The raw figures through that race were strong, but anyway, we sort of move on there. We had the Ruffian, which did no good, and Duplicity Jones, who's probably come to the end of its prep, and the others really just did nothing. So it was pretty much an on-pace dominated race, that one, and we dropped 3.35. And then on to the last race, we backed 5 horses, and we got C Jester, so he sort of just won. We marked him $3. We marked Bullion $5, and he didn't quite get to the price. But look, C Jester ran well. He was a lovely ride by King, who around the 800 was able to initially get himself off the fence, and then he had to navigate his way about 4 or 5 wide through a narrow gap, and he was able to do that all the while keep the horse's momentum going, which was very important as the 3-year-old Gullion was working home quite well out wide. But yeah, we picked up 2.86 on that race or thereabouts. So in all, a long day, a real grind of a day today. A loss of around 5 units. We're covering Caulfield tomorrow and a few black bookers. More than likely we'll finalise in the morning, and we wish you all the best with your punting, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.